Cosmopolitan Identity, Citizens of Everywhere. The conference hall in Brussels hummed with quiet conversation as delegates from across Europe took their seats. Flags stood behind the stage, rows of them, each representing a nation with its own language, history, and traditions. Yet, the woman about to speak believed those differences mattered less than most people thought. Elena Bauer adjusted the microphone. "We live in a world where borders matter less every year," she said. "Economies are global, communication is instant. Humanity's challenges, climate, conflict, poverty, do not stop at national lines." She paused, letting the thought settle across the room. "If our problems are global," she continued, "then our sense of responsibility must also be global." The audience applauded. Elena had spent most of her career advocating for stronger international cooperation, open migration policies, cultural exchange programs, and agreements that linked nations more closely together. To her, these ideas were not radical. They were simply the natural evolution of a connected world. Political psychologists often describe this outlook as cosmopolitan identity. People with a strong cosmopolitan orientation tend to see themselves primarily as members of a global human community rather than exclusively as citizens of a particular nation. This perspective can encourage support for policies such as international institutions and cooperation, immigration and open cultural exchange, multicultural societies that blend traditions and identities. Supporters often view this as a form of moral progress, an expansion of empathy beyond borders. But critics sometimes worry about something else entirely. Several hundred kilometers away, in a small industrial town, Thomas Richter watched Elena's speech on a television in a cafe. He turned the volume down and shook his head. "They talk about the world," he said to the bartender. "But they don't talk about the people who already live here." Thomas was not hostile to outsiders. His own grandfather had been an immigrant decades earlier. But he felt uneasy about how quickly things seemed to be changing. The factory where he worked had recently hired dozens of workers from abroad. The local school now offers classes in several languages to accommodate students from many backgrounds. None of these changes was inherently negative. Yet Thomas felt something difficult to describe. A sense that the familiar cultural fabric of the town was slowly unraveling. "What holds a country together?" he asked quietly, "if everyone starts thinking of themselves as citizens of the world first?" This question lies at the heart of the debate over cosmopolitanism. For people like Elena, expanding identity beyond national borders represents moral progress. If human beings share the same basic dignity, then why should compassion stop at the edge of a map? For people like Thomas, national identity serves an important function. Shared language, culture, and history create social trust and cooperation. If those shared foundations weaken too quickly, societies may struggle to maintain cohesion. Neither side sees itself as unreasonable. Elena believes she is promoting unity at a broader human level. Thomas believes he is protecting the stability that enables peaceful societies. Over the next decade, Elena's vision gradually influenced policy. Cities became more internationally connected. Cultural diversity increased. Universities and corporations celebrated global collaboration. In many ways, the results were impressive. New businesses emerged, international students enriched academic institutions, cultural festivals filled city streets with music and food from around the world. But not everyone experienced the changes the same way. In some communities, rapid transformation produced anxiety and resentment among residents who felt their traditions were being pushed aside. Political movements began forming around the promise of restoring a stronger national identity. One evening, years after that conference in Brussels, Elena sat across from Thomas during a televised town hall debate. "You speak about global citizenship," Thomas said respectfully. "But people need something closer to home, a shared story about who they are together." Elena considered his words. "I don't think those things are incompatible," she replied. we can be proud of our nations and still recognize our responsibility to the wider world. Thomas nodded slowly. Maybe, he said, but if we forget what makes a nation feel like a nation, we might lose something we can't easily rebuild. The debate between cosmopolitanism and national identity is one of the defining political tensions of the modern era. Globalization has made societies more interconnected than ever before. At the same time, many people continue to rely on national identity as a source of belonging and social trust. Finding the balance among these forces remains a central challenge for modern democracies. Too much isolation can limit cooperation and compassion across borders. Too much disregard for national cohesion can create anxiety among citizens who feel their shared identity slipping away. Between those poles lies the difficult work of maintaining both human solidarity and stable communities, and every generation must decide where that balance should be drawn.